What's up, guys? Now that the Formula Drift 2026 season is underway, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the new Wally system that they're using. After the first round in Long Beach, there seemed to be a lot of criticism about the Wally system, so I decided to look into it and kind of educate myself about it. So I just wanted to share what I found with you. So, first of all, what is the Wally system? And more specifically, how is it being used in Formula Drift with their UDSM scoring method? So Wally is an electronic judging system developed by Race Data Labs. Their goal is to, quote, bring consistency, fairness, and measurable precision to drifting competitions while making scores easy to understand by fans and newcomers alike. To me, that sounds like they're trying to bring something in that'll make it easier for new viewers to understand what's going on. So the second thing is, how does it work? And there's kind of two parts to this. So the first part, which I think is what most people are looking at, is the device that is being placed on the car. So that device tracks the vehicle speed, angle, positioning on the track, including the proximity to the walls and or other vehicles, if they're doing tandems. That device basically has a virtual version of the car that it's on, with the body dimensions and the wheelbase dimensions. So it knows, kind of the front end, back end, and where the wheel travels are. The second part to it is the track. So I guess the operators of Race Data Labs actually make a virtual version of the track using GPS and plotting out points on the track where they can create the zones, which allows the system to calculate the zone fulfillment. So now we'll take a look at scoring and how the system scores are calculated. This is also going to be done in two parts. Firstly, I'm going to talk about how it's used during qualifying, then how it's used during the tandem battles. So with qualifying, there are three categories that are being used to score the drivers: zone fulfillment, angle, and style. Zone fulfillment and angle scores are calculated by Wally. Style is still scored by the judges. And if you're a previous Formula Drift viewer, now there are no more outer zones or inner clips. They're calling everything zones. The scores are built on how well the zones are being filled and the amount of angle the driver has going through the run. So between all the zones and the angle between the run, all of that is getting averaged out. Zone and angle both account for 40 points each out of the driver's score. Style points make up the last 20 points, which come from the judges. All those points combined make up the total of 100 that the driver can earn. Now let's talk about how Wally's been used for the tandem battles. Now, if you go to the Race Data Labs website, which is where I got the qualifying information, there actually isn't anything stating how Wally's being used for tandem battles. But if you go over to the FD judging regulations, it does outline how it should be used, which basically says that telemetry is just used for aiding the tandem judging. It says, quote, "The telemetry system may be used during tandem battles to allow for additional insights that may assist judges in their decision. The telemetry system is not determining the winner of the battle, it is simply providing additional information that may assist in a judging decision. The telemetry system utilizes analysis tools to further inspect a run." So the way I understand it is the judges will be judging the battles based on what they're seeing, using the Wally system telemetry as an aid. They could look at the data if there's any tough calls, or for whatever reason they couldn't see due to camera angles or smoke or, situations like that. But what were my thoughts about the system as a viewer? To be honest, for the first round, it did feel a little rough. I felt like I couldn't really connect with the data. During the replays, when they were trying to show the zone fulfillment, it was delayed. So, the cars were maybe one or two zones ahead of where the scores were getting populated on the display. The speed and the angle display, which were just numbers, felt a little confusing to me. Made it hard to tell what was what. Wasn't very intuitive. But there's room for improvement, and hopefully they can continue to build and improve the system for the viewers. After looking all this up, there was a couple things I thought about that could possibly affect, the results of an event, driver scoring. The first thing is the placement on the vehicle. How accurate does the device have to be placed on the vehicle to get the best readings? How much does it affect the score if the device is too far forward or back? I think one of the biggest things for me is transparency, between not just the system itself, but also with the judges and how the judges are using the system during the battles. I think some clarification there would help the drivers understand where the areas of improvement are, and also help the viewers understand the judging decisions. Going back on transparency, Race Data Labs does have data from other events, not Formula Drift, other drift events that you can go on their website and look at. But for whatever reason, almost a month later, the data from Formula Drift Long Beach still isn't available. And I'm just going to close off with this. The first event with a new system, I can understand some growing pains. I think it's a good tool, which just needs to be refined a little bit more for the drivers and the viewers. And I just hope they continue to work on it and improve the system implementation. And like I said earlier, this video is more for me, but I'm considering doing more videos following the Formula Drift season this year. So if you thought this was helpful, please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you guys next time.